I've recently been playing a game I'd never heard of until around a year ago, and I thought it looked cool, so I put it on my radar and finally decided to play it. What I was treated to was a game with an excellent story, engaging combat, and an exciting world to explore, and that game was Xuan Yuan Sword 7. Now, until last year, I'd never heard of this thing, and I think it's quite likely that you haven't either, but you really should try this game out if it looks interesting to you. First of all, it is an RPG, but it's not going to dominate your life. The game is around 10 hours long, although it did take me 14 hours to get the platinum. So there's not much to lose. It often goes on sale on both the PS Store and the Xbox Store for £15. So now it's time for me to tell you why you should play it. We'll start off with the story. It's a good one. The game I played before this was Redfall, a game with a terrible everything, but the story especially was awful. So this was a very nice change of pace. It's a little bit different in the sense of your initial goal isn't to save the world as the chosen one or anything like that. It's to save your little sister, who is catastrophically ill. The story remains grounded in the sense that this is your motivation throughout the entirety of the game. The story, of course, naturally expands as you run into new characters with new goals, new towns with their own problems that need fixing on a more grand scale, but the act of protecting the ones you love most, and doing whatever it takes to ensure their safety, remains the central focus of the narrative. There's also some brilliant supporting characters. Your party remains small and they do contribute in combat as well, but we'll move on to that in a very short while. I don't want to spoil too much, but your party is a very close, personal group with long-lasting connections, and it really does help keep the story focused on its core themes. But now onto the combat. It's nothing overly groundbreaking, but what it does is manage to find the correct balance between simplicity and complexity. There's enough options at your disposal to keep it from becoming repetitive, but it's still rather simple. You've got your light attack and your heavy attack. Pretty standard. Then you've also got the abilities of your two party members. They have a couple different abilities, but you can only equip one ability from each character at once. There's also the ability to slow down time, which can come in pretty handy if you need to deal a great amount of damage in a short space of time without worrying about taking hits. Then there's the ability to trap their souls. If their health is low enough, you can trap them in this mini tornado and use their souls to make other useful items and upgrades. The best part of the combat system though have to be the stances. Instead of having multiple weapon types, you have one weapon that can be upgraded. The variety in combat comes from all of the stances you unlock through the game. By using the stances, you'll level them up, and once you max out the stance, you unlock a special ability that will become very useful. Some stances focus on dealing more damage, some focus on dealing more stagger, and some focus on dealing damage to multiple enemies. You can choose two stances to switch between on the fly, and it's always engaging. This is where the length of the game helps it massively, because as fun as the combat loop is, I can't imagine being invested in it if the game was, say, 30 hours long. But for 10 to 15 hours, it's great. Then there's the Elysium system, where you can choose which areas you feel are a priority. You can upgrade the weapon workshop, the armor workshop, the fusion workshop, and a couple others. You should be doing this as you go gradually, but the freedom is in your hands. The world is also pretty cool. The game utilises Chinese mythology very well. As someone who's not as familiar with this particular mythology as much as others, I find it very interesting and I am itching to learn more. A lot of the game does look pretty samey, but you do still go to some pretty cool places, and all the towns are unique as well. They all have their own thing going on, their own dilemma and struggles, and it really helps with the world building. You do feel like you are in real places with real people. There are plenty of side quests to do, but honestly most of them are pretty crap. Not much going on there, but they are there if you want to do them. There's also this very cool chess mini-game that I found far too fun. I was invested in this thing. I definitely play this if you get the game. Xuan Yuan 7 is a game that I didn't even know existed, but after playing it, it's made me sad that many others in the West probably don't know it exists either. If you like RPGs or you want to play a 10-hour long game, then you can't really go wrong here. There's plenty of entertainment value to be had. It's not a true masterpiece or anything, but everything it does well, and it's a damn good time. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I hope that you did enjoy it. If you did, then please consider leaving a like, as that would greatly help me out, and if you want to see more videos from me, then you could always subscribe. But that's all. Have a nice day, and goodbye.
可后来，却又有那么多人因为机关术而枉死，难道就不能只用在造福百姓吗？